The Kalar Alliance had never known fear like this before. For centuries, their worlds had lived in relative peace, trading with nearby species, exploring distant stars, and slowly building a network of civilization. But now all of that was gone. The Draxian Dominion had arrived like a storm, tearing through every planet they could reach. Cities burned, oceans boiled, and skies were black with warships. Elder Varen stood on the balcony of the Kalar Council Hall, looking out at the ruins of her home city. Smoke rose from the broken towers, and the air smelled of fire and metal. Her three assistants, Joran, Lyra, and Tal, waited silently behind her. Varen's heart ached with the weight of failure. She had led her people for decades, but nothing she had done could stop the Draxians. "They are too strong," Varen whispered, more to herself than anyone else. "We cannot fight them. We cannot survive." Joran, always the voice of caution, stepped forward. "Elder, we still have one option. The legends speak of a planet far from this sector. They call it Earth. It is a world known to be dangerous, but it may have warriors who could help us." Lyra's eyes widened. "Dangerous? Do you mean monsters?" Joran shook his head. "Not monsters, warriors, beings who survive on worlds far harsher than ours. Their survival skills are unmatched. If they respond, they may be able to save us." Varen took a deep breath. Sending a message to Earth felt like reaching across the entire galaxy with a tiny, trembling hand. The Kalars were not strong. They had nothing but hope. But hope, she realized, was all they had left. She nodded at Joran. "Prepare the signal. Send it to Earth. Ask for help. Ask for mercy if they can even understand what mercy means." The team worked quickly, sending the encrypted signal across the void. The message was simple. "We are the Kalar Alliance. Our worlds are under attack by the Draxian Dominion. We beg for assistance. Please, if any can hear, save us." As the signal traveled through the dark, empty space, Varen returned to the balcony. She watched the sky and wondered if anyone would answer. In the quiet of the night, she almost wished no one would. Perhaps it was better to die fighting than to hope for help that might never come. Far away in the Terran sector, the signal reached its destination. On Earth, General Nathan Cole sat in the command center of the United Terran Fleet. He was a tall man, with gray streaking his dark hair, and a face that had been hardened by decades of war. He listened quietly as his officers explained the situation. Commander Alicia Grant, standing next to a large holographic map of the galaxy, shook her head slightly. "Sir, the Kalar's worlds are near the outer rim. They've been overrun. If we intervene, it could spark a conflict with the Draxians. We are not part of this region's conflicts." Nathan looked at her calmly. "That's exactly why we need to respond. They are asking for mercy. They are asking for help. How many times have we been helpless and wished for someone to answer? We do not get to ignore that call now." Captain Ryan Brooks, leader of the Iron Fang unit, leaned forward from the back of the room. His black armor gleamed under the dim lights. "Sir, if we go, it won't be a peaceful mission. These Draxians, they are ruthless. This won't be a negotiation. They'll die before they listen. Do we have the right people for that?" Nathan nodded slowly. "We have the right people. We always have. Iron Fang is trained for the worst. That is why they call us Deathworlders. We survive where others cannot. We fight where others flee. Prepare the fleet. We leave at once." Alicia's eyes widened slightly, but she didn't argue. She had served under Nathan long enough to know that once he gave an order, it was carried out. Even if the consequences were dangerous, he would not hesitate. Back in the Kalar system, the Draxians continued their destruction. Warships filled the sky, dropping massive bombs and firing energy weapons that melted buildings and scorched landscapes. Families ran blindly through streets of rubble, screaming for one another. Soldiers tried to resist, but their weapons were weak against the Draxian technology. Elder Varen called a meeting with her council. "The humans may come," she said quietly, "but they are far. It may take them weeks to reach us." "We have only days," Tal, a young and fiery officer, spoke up. "We cannot wait. We must fight with what we have. Even if it is hopeless, we must resist. It is our duty to our people." Varen nodded, though her heart was heavy. "Do what you can. Protect as many as possible, and pray that Earth hears our call." In orbit above Earth, the Terran fleet gathered. Massive starships floated like predators in space, black and sleek with weapons ready. Smaller attack crafts prepared for deployment, each one designed for speed and lethal efficiency. Nathan watched the preparations silently. thinking of the Kalars and the worlds burning under Draxian fire. Ryan stood beside him. "Sir, when we land, it will be chaos. I want to know, how much freedom do we have? Are we here to negotiate or destroy?" Nathan's eyes hardened. "We are here to save. If the Draxians resist, they will die. That is the nature of survival. But we are not here to kill the innocent. That is the difference between us and them." Ryan nodded, understanding. He had seen countless battles where mercy was not an option. But this time it would be different. Humans would fight like predators, but they would also protect those who could not protect themselves. On the first world the Kalars had managed to hold, children ran through the remains of their city, scavenging for food. Elder Varen stood with Joran and Lyra, watching the skies, hoping for a sign of the humans. "Will they come?" Joran asked. Varen shook her head slowly. "I do not know. I only hope that what they call Deathworlders are as strong as the legends say." The first human ships appeared as distant specks in the sky, almost invisible against the blackness of space. But even from far away they moved with purpose, forming patterns that showed coordination and strength. The Kalars watched in disbelief as the specks grew into massive ships, larger than anything they had seen, and moving with silent precision toward their worlds. When the Terran fleet entered orbit, alarms went off across the Kalar systems. Draxian warships detected them and sent alerts back to their commanders. "Humans?" one officer hissed. "That world? That primitive planet? It dares to send ships here?" The Draxian commanders laughed, underestimating the humans. They did not know the planet they came from. They did not understand the beings they would face. And they certainly did not know the humans' history of survival against impossible odds. As the humans prepared for descent, Ryan's team suited up. Lieutenant Maria Lewis checked her weapons carefully. Each weapon had been modified for speed, power, and versatility. Her armor was light but strong, capable of withstanding conditions most species could not survive. She looked at Ryan, who gave her a small nod. "Time to show them what Earth sends," he said quietly. Maria smiled grimly. "Let's hope they are ready." The first ships touched the surface with barely a sound. Dust rose in clouds, but the humans moved as if they owned the ground. Every step was calculated, every movement precise. They were not here to make friends. They were here to survive, to protect, and to fight. Elder Varen stepped forward when the first human soldiers approached. Her hands shook slightly and her eyes were wide. You came," she whispered. Ryan stepped forward, his face calm but fierce. "We heard your call. We are here to help. Stay close and we will protect you." The Kalars stared in awe. They had expected diplomats, perhaps a small force. But these humans, these were something else entirely. There was a fire in their eyes, a strength in their stance that no Draxian had ever shown. As night fell over the Kalar city, the first human patrols moved through the streets. They rescued those trapped in ruins, healed the injured as best they could, and quietly assessed the Draxian positions. It was a new kind of hope for the Kalars, the first in weeks. Elder Varen could only watch, her heart full of both fear and wonder. She whispered a prayer to the stars, asking for strength, asking for mercy. She did not fully understand these humans, but she knew one thing. They had the power to change everything. And as the Draxians looked down at the approaching humans, unaware of the horrors to come, no one on either side realized that the balance of power had shifted forever. The Kalars were about to see what it truly meant when Earth sent its Deathworlders. The Draxians did not wait long before reacting. Their scouts had reported the arrival of human ships, and their commanders laughed at the primitive invaders from Earth. They sent fleets to attack, confident that the humans would be easy prey. But they were wrong. From orbit, Nathan Cole watched the Draxian ships move into position. He remained calm, giving orders to his fleet with precision. "Divide into 3 wings. Ryan, take the southern corridor. Alicia, the northern corridor. I will lead the center. Engage on my mark." Ryan Brooks felt his heart steady as he prepared the Iron Fang unit for deployment. Around him, Lieutenant Maria Lewis checked her armor one last time, ensuring everything was secure. Every member of the team was trained for conditions harsher than anything the Draxians could throw at them. That was the difference. Humans had survived worlds that would kill others in hours. They had trained to fight where others could not even walk. "Stay sharp," Ryan said quietly. "Remember, we are here to protect, but we are also here to survive." They will try to kill us first, Maria nodded. Let's show them why they fear Earth. The first skirmish began above the Kalar city. Draxian ships opened fire, energy beams tearing through buildings and streets. But the Terran fleet moved like a living shadow, dodging attacks and striking with precision. Each Terran cruiser carried weapons designed to exploit weaknesses in enemy armor. Within minutes, several Draxian ships were disabled, spinning helplessly into space. Below, the Iron Fang unit landed in the city ruins. The streets were dangerous, filled with debris and fires, but the team moved like ghosts. Ryan led the front, his rifle steady, scanning for any enemy movement. Maria followed, providing cover and making sure civilians were safe. The Kalars watched from hiding places, awe in their eyes. These humans were unlike any soldiers they had ever seen. They moved with speed and purpose, using the environment to their advantage. When Draxian soldiers appeared from ruined buildings, the humans attacked with efficiency that seemed almost unnatural. Within moments, the enemies were disarmed or incapacitated. Joran whispered to Elder Varen, They are incredible. I have never seen beings fight like this. Varen nodded silently. She could not speak. Fear and hope clashed inside her, but mostly she felt relief. For the first time since the invasion began, she believed her people might survive. On the battlefield, Ryan and Maria moved deeper into the city, clearing streets and rescuing civilians. Maria carried a Keller child out of a burned building, ignoring the energy fire that passed close to her head. Ryan blocked the attack of a Draxian soldier, taking several strikes before finally subduing him. The Kalars around them gasped at their bravery. The Draxians regrouped, realizing that they were not facing ordinary humans. They sent in heavy units, towering machines bristling with weapons, designed to crush everything in their path. But the humans adapted. Using small, nimble vehicles and coordinated attacks, they outmaneuvered the larger units. Each move was calculated, each strike precise. In one narrow alley, Maria and Ryan faced a Draxian war machine. Its guns fired continuously, and its armor seemed nearly impenetrable. Ryan shouted to the squad, "Flank left! Use the debris for cover." They moved quickly, using broken walls and rubble as shields. Maria fired at weak points she had identified, and Ryan launched a grenade that exploded at the right moment. The machine collapsed with a deafening crash. The Kalars, watching from behind barricades, cheered quietly. It was not just the destruction of the enemy that amazed them. It was the courage and control the humans displayed. Even in the face of danger, they did not panic. They fought with skill and purpose, and they protected the helpless. Meanwhile, in space, Nathan directed the fleet. Draxian warships were falling faster than they could replace them. Each human cruiser moved as if it were alive, anticipating attacks and countering them instantly. When a Draxian cruiser tried to escape, a human fighter unit intercepted it and disabled its engines in seconds. Alicia Grant, coordinating the northern wing, spoke into her communicator. "Sir, we have multiple Draxian reinforcements. They are stronger than the ones below, but our squads are handling them. Casualties are minimal so far." Nathan nodded. "Keep pushing. Protect the civilians. That is our priority. The Draxians will learn quickly that humans are not a race to underestimate." On the ground, the battle continued for hours. Ryan's team moved from street to street, clearing Draxian patrols and rescuing trapped Kalars. They worked as one unit, each knowing the other's movements without speaking. Maria saved several civilians, including an elderly Kalar woman who had been trapped under rubble. She carried the woman to safety, ignoring the fire and debris around them. At one point, Ryan was hit by a glancing energy blast while shielding a young Kalar boy. He fell, stunned, and Maria dragged him behind cover. The boy clung to Ryan, crying in fear. Maria's eyes softened, but only briefly. She checked Ryan quickly and confirmed he was alive. Then she nodded to him. "Come on, we have more to do." Ryan rose slowly, gripping his rifle tightly. "Let's finish this." The Kalars were beginning to understand the true meaning of the term Deathworlders. These humans were not only survivors, they were warriors shaped by harsh worlds, trained to fight impossible battles. They did not panic. They did not hesitate. They protected the weak and struck at the strong with deadly precision. As night fell over the Kalar city, the Draxians realized they were losing. Their patrols had been decimated, their war machines destroyed, and their reinforcements were arriving too late to make a difference. They began to retreat, but the humans pursued relentlessly. Nathan watched the reports coming from the surface. "They are fleeing," he said quietly. "Good. Let them know there is no mercy for those who attack the innocent." Ryan and Maria led a small squad to intercept a Draxian escape unit. They moved through destroyed streets, using the shadows to hide their approach. When the Draxians saw them, they fired wildly. But the humans had already calculated the trajectory and moved with precision. Within moments, the escape unit was disabled, and the Draxians were captured. Elder Varen and her council watched from a safe location. Tears filled her eyes as she saw the humans in action. For the first time in weeks, she smiled. "They came for us," she whispered. "They came for us when no one else would." Joran nodded. "They are not just warriors. They are protectors. Perhaps the stories of Earth's Deathworlders are true after all." In space, Nathan gave the order to hold positions and provide cover for the units on the ground. Alicia reported, "Sir, the Draxians are attempting to regroup. They may try a counterattack." Nathan's voice was calm but firm. "Let them try. They will learn quickly that Earth does not surrender. Earth does not negotiate with monsters." On the ground, Ryan and Maria continued their work. They moved through the city, securing key positions and rescuing civilians. Every street cleared, every building secured was another blow to the Draxians. Each act of courage inspired the Kalars to stand and fight alongside them. By the end of the night, the first wave of the Draxian forces had been driven out of the city. Fires still burned and the rubble was everywhere, but the humans and Kalars had survived. The Kalars began to understand the full meaning of the word Deathworlders. These humans were not only skilled fighters, they were unstoppable in their determination to protect the innocent and punish the guilty. Elder Varen approached Ryan and Maria after the battle. Her voice shook with emotion. "I cannot thank you enough. My people owe you our lives." Ryan shook his head. "We are not here for thanks. We are here because someone once came for us when we were helpless. Now it is our turn to help." Maria nodded. "Stay strong. Learn what you can. The Draxians may return, but you will be ready." The Kalars looked at the humans with new hope. For the first time since the invasion began, they believed that they could survive. They believed that their worlds could be saved. High above, Nathan Cole watched the stars, his mind already calculating the next move. The Draxians were dangerous, but they had underestimated Earth's Deathworlders, and they would continue to underestimate them until it was too late. The first battle was over, but the war was only beginning. And the Kalars now knew that when Earth sent its Deathworlders, no enemy could stand unchallenged.